Este episodio de Mente Positivo llega a ustedes por cortesía de nuestra aplicación Escala Meditando, nuestra aplicación de meditaciones guiadas en español, donde yo siempre te estaré guiando, y también meditadores invitados como Judy Arias en la sección de invitados expertos. Pronto se publican las meditaciones grabadas por nuestra queridísima Tuti Furlan, psicóloga y una gran maestra, una mujer sabia desde el corazón y el amor, al igual que Judy. Así que si todavía no meditas junto a nosotros, descárgate en tu teléfono inteligente en la tienda de aplicaciones Escala, de escalar juntos en niveles de conciencia, de felicidad, de salud, de paz. Escala Meditando, donde yo siempre te estaré guiando. Por cierto, felicitaciones a todos los que formamos parte de la tribu de Escala Meditando, porque recién acabamos de celebrar nuestro primer añito, nuestro primer aniversario. Así que muchísimas gracias a esa comunidad de más de 100,000 meditadores que ya han descargado Escala Meditando. Hazlo ahora, no pierdas tiempo y utiliza la meditación neurocientífica como una herramienta para elevar conciencia, paz, serenidad, discernimiento, productividad y alto rendimiento. Escala Meditando en tu teléfono inteligente. Vivimos en un mundo cada vez más volátil, incierto, complejo y ambiguo.
La ropa no me sirve.
Siempre planifico y nunca me salen las cosas. Estoy cansado.
Un mundo en el que muchos viven desde la excusa, la queja y la no aceptación.
Estoy muy desordenado.
Necesito votos. No soporto a mi jefe.
Estoy demasiado deprimido.
Para que no te vuelvas loco, aquí reprogramamos tu coco. Inteligencia emocional, psicología positiva. Todas las herramientas que necesitas para convertirte en un demente positivo.
Mente Positivo, el programa de Ismael Cala.
Hola, bienvenida, bienvenido a este episodio de Mente Positivo. Soy Ismael Cala, calando fuerte en tu corazón. Espero eso, porque hacemos este podcast con muchísimo cariño, con muchísimo amor, pensando y siempre apostando, porque juntos podemos elevar nuestro estado de conciencia, juntos podemos siempre crecer. Y qué invitado, qué invitadazo el que tenemos hoy, mi cuate, como diría yo cuando vivía en México en el año 2008, que me encanta el acento mexicano. Así que lo hago con mucho cariño. Un invitado sumamente extraordinario. Es uno de esos mentores que primero fue un solo mentor a través de sus libros, virtual, digamos, mentor virtual. Pero luego tuve la oportunidad de desear conocerle, intencionar conocerle y llegar a conocerle de una manera muy orgánica y especial. Al invitado de hoy, que es mi queridísimo Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma, el autor de El monje que vendió su Ferrari, el mismísimo autor del Club de las 5 de la mañana, el autor de ese otro libro que me fascinó y me cambió la vida, que es El líder que no tiene cargo o que no tiene título, y tantos otros bestsellers. Robin Sharma es nuestro invitado. Es uno de los hombres con más congruencia y coherencia entre su discurso y su ejemplo de vida que he conocido. Y la verdad que tuve la oportunidad de conocerle en la ciudad de Nueva York a las 6 de la mañana, porque él se regresaba a Toronto, donde vive. Ahí compartimos eso en nuestra historia. Robin Sharma vive en las afueras de Toronto. Yo viví 6 años de mi vida en Toronto. Fue Canadá mi segunda casa al salir de Cuba. Y la verdad que él viva en Canadá, pues me llena el corazón, porque tengo mucho cariño por lo que recibí de ese hermoso país por 6 años. Y las amistades que allí conservo. Saludos Ramón, mi padre dominicano en Toronto. Saludos Mirna, mi hermana boricua allá en Toronto, y tantos otros grandes amigos. Saludos. Y Robin Sharma, les hago esta anécdota antes de entrar en la conversación con él. Lo conocí en Nueva York. Se iba de regreso a Toronto a mitad de día, pero me dice, si tú corres, y yo no corría mucho por esa época, pero había llevado mis tenis para correr, las zapatillas deportivas, había llevado mi atuendo deportivo, como si algo me dijera, Ismael, vas a correr en Nueva York, porque ahora sí lo estoy haciendo todos los días con esto de la cuarentena, pero en ese momento, hace 4 años atrás, no tenía la disciplina de correr y sobre todo en un viaje, en una ciudad de visita. Y él lo hace constantemente. Se levanta a las 5 de la mañana, hace su hora de meditación y corre por 45 minutos. ¿Se imaginan ustedes yo corriendo ahí en Nueva York con Robin Sharma? Robin Sharma, uno de los más grandes expertos en liderazgo, mentoría, alto rendimiento humano en el mundo. Entonces, así le conocí y luego me fui en el año 2016, en junio, cuando más lo necesitaba, porque estaba a punto de dejar CNN, de salir de mi zona de confort, de renunciar, aunque ya había comunicado la decisión, pero todavía estaba al aire. Y justo en ese evento de Robin Sharma, mucha gente no sabe esto, yo tomé la inspiración para escribir discurso de despedida que tan generé por 14 minutos me permitió comunicar en mi programa. Así que la verdad, Robin para mí es un gran ser humano. Hemos tenido una charla maravillosa que fue parte de una masterclass muy reciente con nuestro Influencers Circle, ese programa de membresía por todo un año que es el programa élite académico, donde ponemos ahí todo lo que nuestro equipo de investigación académica multidisciplinario trae de las escuelas de pensamiento y las altas casas de estudio alrededor del mundo. Eso es el Influencer Circle y Robin Sharma estuvo con nosotros, ahí pude conversar con él y luego, obviamente, que ustedes no van a escuchar porque es lo privado de solo los miembros del círculo, ellos pudieron también interactuar con él. Así que vamos a escuchar esta entrevista en 2 partes, porque a la mitad haremos una pausita para publicidad y luego regresamos con Robin Sharma. Aquí lo tienen. Disfruten esta maravillosa, extraordinaria masterclass a través de la voz y la energía de Robin Sharma. Hello, Robin.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. We're wearing black shirts. Very good. Well, I don't know if you remember, but I know that Bruno told you at Personal Mastery this year that we met in 2014 and we ran with you for 45 minutes in New York.
Oh, of course I remember. Of course
Yeah.
I remember.
Yes, and I didn't say hi when I went to Personal Mastery 2016. I was there for the first 2 days and it was amazing. And I have to actually thank you because you've been a virtual mentor of mine for so many years through the podcast, the Personal Mastery sessions, your books. And now I'm so thrilled to be interviewing you for the 5 a.m. club, that it's a masterpiece. And, you know, like it's really wonderful because it's a compilation of so many things that you've been teaching throughout the years with new life lessons. And no wonder it's number 1 in so many bestsellers lists right now. So I want to ask you first about the 5 a.m. club and the 4-year time frame for writing a book. You know, because for so many people, that's a long time. People want everything done fast right now. And you said that this is, you know, like one of the best works that you have done so far today. So tell me if there is a formula, if you are going to write only books every 3 or 4 years, or it was only this one.
Well, you know, I think we live in a world that suffers from a lack of patience. And we live in a world that wants the rewards of world class, but many people are not willing to invest what's required of world class. And so you're right, Ismail. What I did was I spent 4 years writing the 5 a.m. Club because I wanted it to be the single best piece of work I've ever done. I believe in many ways the marketplace rewards your delivery of magic. I think what a lot of people in business and the arts do is they put out an average piece of work and then they spend all their time marketing it. I believe I did my best in the 5 a.m. Club to distill 23 years of the lessons I've taught to billionaires and elite performers and great athletes and movie stars. And I wanted to put it into one book that would be accessible for anyone on the planet who was interested in expressing their primal genius, living a better life, owning their true power and making a difference in the world. And so I wrote this book over 4 years in Russia, Rome, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Switzerland, and I probably rewrote it 50 times or more because I just wanted every line right. I wanted it to sort of be a love letter for me to readers, reminding them of their gifts and talents and the responsibility to do amazing things in the world.
I read that you said, I think it was in one of the emails that you sent, that I actually, I treasure your emails, because they are really well thought, well written, with profound knowledge. And you said that some people told you that, like probably the story wouldn't work, the structure of the book, some of the graphics inside the book. And I want to tell you, how do you follow intuition? Even if people are saying, Robin, we love you. You actually said that for some people, they said his best days as an author are in the past. How could you maintain focus, follow your intuition to create a piece like this?
Great question. Very thoughtful question. It hurt. When you do your most beautiful work, as I've tried to do with the 5 a.m. Club, and invest your mind, creativity, authenticity, heart, soul, craft in a piece of work. It's like you're holding your heart in your hand and you're putting it out into the world. And I wouldn't be honest with you if I said, when people laughed at some of the things I wanted to do in the book, putting art and mixing it with neuroscience, and then those frameworks on elite performance, and then the 11 letters of Mr. Riley towards the end on philosophy and prosperity and how you can enter the magic. It hurt. But you absolutely must allow your faith in your work and your devotion to be stronger than your fear. And what I've realized, Ismail, is critics are just dreamers who got scared, and now it's easier to throw rocks at people doing things than for them to get up. Also, Bob Dylan said, don't criticize what you don't understand. And J.K. Rowling said, for some to love you, some must loathe you. And these are some of the insights that I use as a framework for myself, that, when you put disruptive information out in the world, it's going to threaten people. I mean, the 5 a.m. Club is a very threatening book to people who don't want to change. It's a terrifying book to people who aren't ready to say, you know what, I can do amazing things, but it's because of me and my morning routine and my belief system and the energy vampires I surround myself with that I'm not living a gorgeous life. And it's much easier to shoot the messenger than to embrace the message. And with that understanding, as well as a very strong commitment to following my instinct, I wrote the 5 a.m. Club the way I wanted to write it, and I put it out into the world.
And it's a master class, like a world class book, and it's a master class in words to live a powerful life, to pursue our potential. However, do you think in a real world, I mean, we are in a very, very chaotic world in some sense of the news that we see on television, and I'm a journalist, I'm coming from that, and that's why I decided to, make a change in my life. Do you think that we can give this book to some people living 9 to 5, like a very routine life, and that they will understand that they have the potential to change? Or this book is for people who already saw the potential, they believe they are already leaders, not necessarily with title, but they know that they can pursue the potential. What I'm saying is because sometimes I get frustrated seeing people that I see the potential, but I don't think they see their own potential. So how do you manage to understand that probably we are not going to be, like not everybody will be the same.
The 5 a.m. club is not for closed people.
Okay.
It's not for people who don't want to change. It's not for people who are resistant to growth and transformation. The 5 a.m. club, now, but it is for people who are so-called ordinary. It is for people who are in a 9-to-5 job and they feel stuck. It is for people who say, my life might be good or not good, but I know I can do better and I want more. It is for people who say, you know what? Life is short and I want to do amazing work. I want to achieve my gifts and potential and I want to live a beautiful life. So, what I found is if we recite our excuses long enough, we actually hypnotize ourselves to think they are true. And so if someone says, well, I can't change, that will make them people of can't. I guess what I'm suggesting to you is you're right. There's a lot of volatility in the world right now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. There's a lot of people who are busy being busy. There's a lot of people who are addicted to distraction. This is the best time to join the 5 a.m. club because the part of the foundation of the book is this 20-20-20 formula that is transforming lives around the world right now by people reading the book. And the whole idea is rise at 5 a.m. It'll take you 66 days to wire it in as an automatic habit according to neuroscience. So people can get up early. Now, once you're up at 5 a.m. and it's an automatic habit and you run the 20-20-20 formula, it's 6 o'clock, you've optimized your brain, you have more energy, you've released neurochemicals that make you happy, your creativity is on fire, and you've accessed your true power. Think about how that would benefit anyone on the planet right now in this world where so many people are exhausted, struggling, depleted, and distracted. So as you start to get your morning routine right, join the 5 a.m. club, get that first hour of the day for yourself to feed your mind, body, heart, and soul. You transform your days, which allows you to transform your life.
You also talked about mindset, but you have 3 other, like soul set, heart set, and health set. So it's, and you actually said that mindset is only 25% of the success that we are going to have in life. And this is interesting because, for so many other leadership experts, they only talk about psychology and mindset. And I totally agree with you. If we don't change and we don't include, let's say, the heart and actually the wisdom and the intelligence of the heart, the mind probably will go crazy with us. So tell us a little bit about these 4 quadrants.
Well, the 5 a.m. Club is a disruptive book. And it has a lot of fresh ideas that are turning the field of leadership and personal mastery on its head. And you are a great journalist because you've done your research, and I want to applaud you for that in a world where a lot of people take superficial approaches. So you're right. I say there's actually 4 interior empires that lead to your exterior empires of creativity, productivity, prosperity, and performance. And you're right. If you go on Instagram, if you go to any personal development conference or a leadership conference, most people say, get your psychology right. And there's this term everyone's using, everything is mindset. Improve your mindset. Be a positive thinker. Well, if that was all it was, then anyone who read a personal development book and positive thinking book would be happy. And so here's the missing link, I believe, to why people don't change. Mindset without heart set is an empty victory. In other words, mindset, as I mentioned in the book, is only 25%. Yes, of course, you need a strong mindset, a strong psychology, because your beliefs drive your behavior. But we are more than just psychology as human beings. We have an emotionality. We have a heart set, this term I'm introducing in the book. And so what happens is we read the books and we do the meditations and we do the prayer and we do the affirmations and we start to improve our mindsets, but very few people have been taught how to improve the heart set. And as human beings, as we go through life, we get hurt, we get disappointed, and we take the anger and sadness and disappointment and regret and shame, and we stuff it down within ourselves and it becomes repressed. And so we have a positive mindset, we have a toxic heart set, and that's what blocks our creativity, our productivity, our joy, and our performance. So it's mindset and heart set, but that's still only 50%. There's two more interior empires I go into depth in the book. Health set. If you don't have energy, if you don't have a strong physiology, if you don't hack longevity, if you don't understand nutrition and rest, you're not going to win. And then the final interior empire I teach in the 5 AM Club is soul set. Now, you might say, well, soul set, people might go, well, that's religious. It doesn't apply to me. I think soul set is incredibly important because at 5 a.m., by working on your soul set, you're simply starting to rebuild the relationship with your highest, greatest, most powerful self. In other words, soul set is about turning down the voice of your ego and starting to get your true nature, which makes you undefeatable when you go out into the world.
Mucho todavía por escuchar en la voz de Robin Sharma. Qué fascinante todo lo que este señor nos cuenta, su obra, su legado, un legado que todavía está en camino, en construcción. Hacemos una pequeña pausa y en un 2x3 regresamos con la segunda parte de esta conversación en Demente Positivo con Robin Sharma, autor de El monje que vendió su Ferrari. Te recomiendo te leas este libro si es que aún no ha caído en tus manos.
Nuestro invitado se está convirtiendo en un demente positivo.
En estos próximos 3 días va a haber un entrenamiento técnico, pero al mismo tiempo va a haber otro entrenamiento que es el entrenamiento mindfulness, el entrenamiento liderazgo, el entrenamiento conciencia.
He aprendido no solo las técnicas del maestro, sino también a conocerme, a poder desafiar mis propios límites y poder llegar a ser la comunicadora que quiero ser.
Mi experiencia ha sido realmente fantástica. Ismael Cala es uno de los mejores comunicadores. Me enseñó sobre todo a conectar mi corazón con la audiencia.
Y así llegamos al final de la 4ª promoción de Cala Speaking Academy. 4 días intensos de convivencia, de aprendizaje, de desaprendizaje, pero sobre todo de compartir desde el corazón. ¡Gracias a todos! Nos vemos en el próximo.
Señoras y señores, atención, por favor.
Presta atención. Ismael Cala tiene muchas buenas cosas para contarte. Aquí, en Demente Positivo. Demente Positivo.
Aquí estamos de vuelta, soy Ismael Cala, esto es Demente Positivo. Compártenos con tus amigos, colegas, familia y danos 5 estrellitas para que tengamos tu puntuación. Gracias a todos los que nos escriben en redes sociales, muchísimas gracias, aprecio muchísimo ese cariño y las descargas que nos hacen uno de los más populares en nuestra categoría de alto rendimiento humano y psicología en Spotify y otras plataformas. Muchísimas gracias por la preferencia. Vamos a la segunda parte de la conversación con este grande líder del liderazgo, de la mentoría, del coaching, de la productividad, del alto rendimiento a nivel global. Es mi queridísimo Robin Sharma y ahí está, servido.
So, service. How can we understand that service make us more powerful, that service will make us transcend? Because for some people, probably it's more personal power than service. How can we make that shift?
Well, that begs the question, Ismael, what is personal power? And I think our society says personal power is lots of money. Personal power is a big title. Personal power is a Ferrari. Personal power is a big home. I suggest to you, and I know we're singing from the same songbook, I suggest there's two types of power. There's worldly power and there's true power. And, you know, my life changed a few years ago when I stood in Nelson Mandela's prison cell on Robin Island. That man, that great man, was kept in that cell for 18 years of his 27 years of confinement. I talked to people who knew Nelson Mandela very well, and they said, Nelson Mandela wasn't always Nelson Mandela. Before he went into prison, he was an angry man. But those 18 years on Robin Island purified him, and the torture and suffering opened him up, and it cracked the shell of his ego. What I'm suggesting to you is true power is less about ego and worldly things. I actually believe true power is about two simple things. Number one, expressing your gifts and your talents each day to the best of your ability. And number two, spending the rest of your life helping other people as much as you can. Because Dad, my father said to me, he's 83 years old, and he said to me, Robin, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. He said, son, live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice. And I think true power and actually true growth comes from using your work, using your art, using your days in service of other people. And the great thing is, whether you're a truck driver, a pizza maker, a journalist, an author, a toilet cleaner, a housekeeper, you can see your work as noble and an opportunity to give and enrich other people's lives.
And actually, now you mentioned the toilet cleaner. I think that you talked about a toilet cleaner in an airport, that it was so special that, you know, it inspired you talking about leadership. And that's exactly what I think. You know, we have to talk about a concept of leadership that you actually gave us through the book, The Leader Who Had No Title. And that's actually also a very humbling concept, because for some people, you know, being a leader is just being granted formal authority or a designated position. So we are talking now about leadership, but everybody needs to understand that he or she could be a leader in the world. Do you find that that's a hard concept to grasp for some people?
I think it's a challenging concept because the whole world, our culture, the media, our parents have told us that genius is a divine gift, that leadership is for the special few. And the reason why I believe the 5 a.m. Club has resonated with so many people across the planet is because it is a manual that shows ordinary people, people who might not have understood what leadership is, a specific morning ritual to use from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock while the rest of the world is asleep, to reclaim, not to transform, to reclaim the awe, wonder, curiosity, and true power that we knew when we were little kids. Here's a piece of science, Ismail. The first 7 years of a child's life, we're in theta state. Not in beta state. We're in the brainwave state of genius. Little kids believe. Little kids are powerful. We're curious. We don't hate. We love each other. We say, when I grow up, Daddy or Mommy, I'm going to be an astronaut and a billionaire and a rock climber and a doctor or a nurse. And after age 7, the world starts to shut us down. It tells us, don't dream too big. Don't speak your truth. Don't feel your power. Don't take risks. Let your fears run your life. And so the 5 a.m. Club method is profound because really a lot of people say, what do I do? How can I change? How can I have more energy? How can I take back my power? It's by getting up early and spending 1 hour developing your mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. And as you live your mornings, so you build your days. And as you build better days, you'll build better weeks, months, years, and a lifetime. So I think it's the 5 a.m. Club method is the one habit that transforms every other habit.
So the 20-20-20 formula, how long have you been practicing that in your own life, Robin? And how do you get to the order? Let's say the exercise first, because you give us an order in the book and in the model of the 20-20-20. And I remember in 2016 when I was in Toronto for Personal Power that I got it and I said, wow, this is really good. I was doing partially some of my own morning routine and I incorporated the one that you said, learn, the 20 minutes dedicated for learning every single morning. So I was curious to know, why do you get to the order of the sequence in the 20-20-20 formula?
Great question. So the 20-20-20 formula, which is really the foundation of the 5am Club method, comes from my work mentoring billionaires for over 2 decades. And these people had all the money in the world, and they had the jets, and they have the businesses, etc. But, I know there's a lot of very rich people, and money is all they have. And so what I did was I started teaching them the 20-20-20 formula. And I started helping them. The first thing I started to do in my work with them, was to get their morning routine right, because the way you begin your day dramatically determines how your day unfolds. And so I started teaching them the 20-20-20 formula, and I started to see they were developing more energy, more confidence, more focus in a world of distraction, more happiness. And that's relevant to business success because happy leaders make happy companies with happy employees and more creativity. And they were also developing a greater sense of clarity. And so to answer your question about the order, high level, I go into great depth in the book, as you know, but high level, the first 20 minutes from 5 to 5:20 is all about moving. And when most people wake up, they're not feeling very energetic. I understand that. But by spending 20 minutes in sweaty exercise, whether it's running, skipping, push-ups, whatever that is, you're going to release BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which activates your brain. You're going to release dopamine, which is the inspirational neurotransmitter. You're going to release norepinephrine, which gives you focus. You're going to release serotonin, which makes you happy. Anyone can do this because these are rewards of the human brain just by exercising first thing in the morning. Now it's 5:20. You feel fundamentally different. You feel confident. You have more energy. You're more focused. You're more inspired. Second pocket of the 20-20-20 formula. That's all about reflection. Because if you don't reflect first thing in the morning before you really start your day, then you're going to be busy being busy. But what's the point of spending the best hours of your days being busy around the wrong things? So for 20 minutes during that second pocket, you can journal, you can meditate, you can write your goals out, you can do affirmations, you can visualize. Now it's 5:40. Fundamentally, you're feeling more powerful, you're happier, you're more confident, you're more energetic, you're more inspired. Final pocket of the 20-20-20 formula, high level learning. When I work with the billionaires, the movie stars, the NBA superstars as their coach, one thing I've realized, these people all are massively curious. For the majority, the world has shut us down to our curiosity. We'd rather play video games than learn, ask questions, have conversations. So the final 20 minutes of the 20-20-20 formula is when you learn. You take an online course, you read a book, you listen to an audiobook, you watch a TED Talk, you listen to a podcast. Now it's 6 o'clock. You feel fundamentally different. You've optimized your mindset. You've purified your heart set. You've elevated your health set, and you've escalated your soul set. That, in a nutshell, is the 20-20-20 formula of the 5am Club method.
That's fantastic. One of the things that I've done for those 20 minutes of journaling, I'm doing an exercise that I read it in a Julia Cameron book, The Artist's Way, and she called it like the morning pages. But it sounded so nice. And because of you, I learned about the negativity bias of the brain. So I said, if it's too nice, probably I'm not going to remember. So I renamed the exercise and I put it as the morning vomit, which is not that nice, but I can remember. So my vomito de la mañana, I'm doing it as part of your second 20 minutes, about journaling. But it's actually more of letting everything that is in your brain, even if it's disorganized or chaotic, going into paper. And you said that journaling is meditating on paper. So what is the importance of journaling?
Well, the first thing I'd say is journaling has saved my life. When I have gone through the dark valleys of my life and been in great pain and suffering, it was very much my journals that saved me. I would pour my pain out onto a written page, and it was very healing. And this is why heart set is so important. When we go through heartbreak, when we go through tragedy, some people suffer from an illness or an accident or bankruptcy. The world says, get busy. The world says, think positively. You know what that does? It's taking all the pain, which is very human, and it's repressing it within our subconscious, and it comes back. And so journaling, and I'm a huge fan of journaling. Journaling is an opportunity for you to release the more toxic heart set emotions of sadness, anger, shame, disappointment, frustration. And journaling is also an opportunity for us to become more intimate with the higher heart set emotions of gratitude, joy, awe, wonder, festivity. Journaling is an opportunity for you to deepen your understanding. In the 5am Club, there's a model called the 3-step success formula. You probably learned it when you were at Personal Mastery Academy. It's revolutionized my clients' lives. And very simply, the 3-step success formula is this. With better awareness, we'll make better choices each day. With better choices every day, we're going to get better results every day. Pretty simple. So if you start getting better awareness of how to make good food as a chef, by reading, by studying, you're going to calibrate your understanding to make better choices, which are going to give better results. Journaling is an opportunity for you to develop world-class levels of awareness. You can journal about why your day yesterday was more productive. That's going to give you more awareness so you can repeat it. If you had a wonderful conversation with your loved one that made you feel loved, you can journal about it. It's going to build awareness. If you are writing a book, for example, and you had a conversation with a brilliant author, you can journal about what you learned. That's going to build higher awareness. So journaling is also an opportunity for that.
And you are an expert in deconstruction, something that I learned from you. Deconstructing things so that you get to the understanding of how to do it better or how to do it differently. Even because, success, some people, we want to do something and we believe that we can't. But if we study somebody else, success leaves traces. So we can deconstruct somebody else's success and we can study. And, all these things I have applied as protocols in my life. So I want to thank you in a huge way. One of the few terms or many terms that few people are talking about, and you taught me that, it's transient hypofrontality. That's from neurosciences, correct?
Yes, so it's such a myth that geniuses have genetic gifts. The science actually shows us any person on the planet can operate at genius. Genius is less about genetics and more about your daily habits. And so what I share, there's a whole model called the deconstruction of daily genius in the 5am Club book. And it explains to people this. If you are living like most people, you are busy being busy. Okay? If you're distracted, you've got the music on, you're checking your phone through the day, you're allowing yourself to be interrupted, your brain is going to be operating in beta state. genius level ideas like Einstein's ideas, or great authors or great filmmakers or great entrepreneurs, they do not get their best ideas that change the world in beta state when they're busy. We get our best ideas when our brains get quiet and go into theta state. So here's the key. We enter the flow state. That's a term coined by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, University of Chicago. We get into the state of genius called flow in silence and non-distraction. And so transient hypofrontality is simply this. Our prefrontal cortex, am I getting into too much detail here?
No, that's actually perfect. Actually perfect because, like for me and for so many people that will be watching and listening, what you are explaining will give us, the understanding of what the concept is, because the word is kind of abstract. So what you're saying is actually helping us to understand the process.
Okay, there's a specific model in the book right there that explains how anyone can get into genius state every single day. The first point is simply, as I said, genius is not about genetics, it's about your habits. The key thing to remember is this: the prefrontal cortex is the thinking part of our brain, the seat of reason. But we don't get our best ideas when we're thinking and ruminating and worrying. So when we get out of the busyness, let's say we walk in nature, let's say we rise at 5 a.m. and experience tranquility, which is the new luxury, away from our phones and away from technology, our brains, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of thinking, actually shuts down for a short period of time. That's called transient, a short period of time, hypofrontality. The prefrontal cortex actually shuts down. A pharmacy of mastery in terms of neurochemicals then become released in the silence. Your brain goes from beta down to alpha, down to theta, and you start generating these genius level ideas that allow you to do amazing work, create amazing content, and go out there and change the world. So we all can do this. Most of us don't know how to do this.
That's actually something that you suggest that we do in the mornings and in the evenings, because to get to that state, probably if we are working, it will be more difficult. So it's part of the routines in the mornings and in the evenings, because actually you have a model here on page 235, the amazing day deconstruction, that I love this, because it goes not only in the morning, actually it goes into the evening. And you said that a great morning routine depends on a great nighttime routine. So you gave us both.
I think that's the key. A lot of people say, well, how do I get up at 5 a.m.? I don't want to be sleep deprived. Well, I don't want anyone to be sleep deprived. We know the research says the number one way to cut your life short is through sleep deprivation. The 5 a.m. club has nothing to do with sleep deprivation. And there's actually a whole chapter in the book talking about the power and importance of sleep. And you make such a key point. The key to joining the 5 a.m. club and a world-class morning routine is a world-class nightly ritual. So that's very important. And another thing that I think is very important is a lot of society says to us, if we are not working all the time, we are wasting our time. There are a lot of social influencers that say, hustle 24/7, work all the time, rise and grind. Well, there's a model in the book that I think is extremely important. It's called the twin cycles of elite performance. And what that explains is this. If you look at the most productive people on the planet, they balance periods of intense productivity with periods of deep recovery. And so if you want to be at your creative best, and if you want to be at your productive best, it's not about working 24/7. It's about when you work really intensely, and then take the time to rest, take vacations, and enjoy life. Because those periods, maybe it might be a week, a weekend, a month, a sabbatical, a year. I mean, the great writers would write their masterpiece, and then take 2 or 3 years off. And society says, well, you're wasting time. Well, here's I think it's a very important point. John Lennon said, time we enjoy wasting is not wasted time. And I think if we really want to be productive, we must give ourselves permission to rest, to enjoy life, to take days where we read or walk in nature. Those are the periods, according to creative research, where it looks like we're non-doing, but in that non-doing and recovery and enjoyment, connections are being made in our brain that incubate the ideas that allow for genius to show up in our work. I hope that's a helpful point, but it's deep.
That's amazing. That's so helpful, Robin. So how do you deal with that pressure inside of yourself? I'm talking here about self-sabotage, because in the book, you talk about self-sabotage, and I loved it. So how could you master a voice inside your head that it will be stronger than the voice representing self-sabotage?
I think this is profound. You said, first of all, Robin, how can I master the pressure to, after day 6 on vacation, how can I master the pressure not to go work? You know what I would say? With great love and respect, start the process of mastering pressure. That's part of the power of the 5 a.m. method. You've got 1 hour while the rest of the world is asleep, no email, the world is quiet. Start the process of mastering and working on releasing the pressure that is in there. Second thing, you said that voice in the head, Robin. Start working on the voice in the heart. See the value of heart set? The voice in the head saying, Ismail, you must work, is a deeper macro or micro trauma that we all have. Our parents, our teachers, society tell us, if you're not working, you're a loser. It starts to create either micro or macro trauma within us. Intellectually, you're a very intelligent person. People know, take a vacation. But we've got this deeper repressed emotion. And that's again why mindset without heart set training is an empty victory. Third thing I'd say to you, let me ask you a question if I may. What is more valuable, 1 masterwork or 1,000 mediocrities?
1 masterwork, for sure.
Look at, this is why I love the old virtuosos. We live in a world now, it's, come on, hustle, put out stuff, put out content, work. Michelangelo spent 4 years working on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. How many years did Einstein work on his theory of relativity? You see, before this frenzy of rush, which is actually born of insufficiency, many human beings feel not enough. We're social beings, so we copy others. It's called social mimicry. And we see other people rushing like rats or chickens. You know what? And this is part of the manifesto of the 5 a.m. Club. It's reminding people it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And so I would say, take your vacation, put your phone away, go dark, dance with your loved ones, watch the moon, eat beautiful food, read the classics, open your heart. And I know you do, I'm just saying generally for all of us. And then whether it's a week or a month or a year or a decade, come back to your work, born anew, intimate with true genius that you have the bravery to release into the world. To me, that's where the masters play versus the majority.
And actually, another protocol that I'm putting into practice every single week is the massage protocol that you taught me in Personal Mastery 2016. it's 2 per week?
It's called the 2 massage protocol.
Yes.
And, a lot of people laugh at it because initially, we laugh at any idea that is different from our philosophy. And essentially, it's 2 90-minute massages every single week as a means to upgrade your energy, your health, your creativity, and your joyfulness. And a lot of people will say, well, Robin, I don't have the time to do that. I would say sickness will cost you more. A lot of people would say, I don't have the money to do that. I would say the billionaires I work with, they're all about the value received versus the cost invested. You'll actually make more money getting 2 massages every single week in terms of your productivity and your performance.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much for all this beautiful information. I want to just ask you, like 1 or 2 personal questions to end up this conversation. Sure. And one is the concept about family, because I know that you are a father. I believe you have a son and a daughter. So what is family for you? And the second one is, I know that you are divorced. And for so many people, divorce is a tragedy. So I would like to hear from you the concept about divorce.
Well, so to answer your first question, what do I think of family? I had a conversation with a 90-year-old woman at her birthday a few months ago, and I said, you've lived a rich life, a long life. What's most important? And she said, Robin, family. And I would actually maybe say health might be even more important, because if you're dead, you won't be great with your family. But family is probably my top priority. And I think I'm all about success and elite performance and, doing amazing things in business. But even I've coached a lot of people, and I've met a lot of very successful people, Ishmael, and they don't have a strong family life, and they're very empty. So very important. Secondly, you mentioned about divorce, and you're right. You know what I would say? I would say a failure is only a failure if you see it as a failure. I look at anything that may not have worked out in my life as, I did my best, and we do the best that we can do based on the consciousness we're at in that moment. I also believe philosophically that if things are meant to be, they will be. In other words, what's yours cannot be taken away. And so I have a very philosophical approach that everything that happened, whether it's a circumstance or a relationship that might not work, it comes to you as an opportunity for you to learn to get to your next level of growth and service to the world. And so I don't really I learn from things, but I don't live in the past. And I think if things were meant to be, they would have been. To sort of wrap that up with a bow, I've got a wonderful partner in my life. She's an amazing human being, and I've got 2 wonderful children. So I have a very strong family life.
Thank you so much, Robin. And of course, I will recommend this book to every single person that I run into through my social media and YouTube channel and newsletter and emails, because it's a wonderful legacy that you brought into the world.
Well, you're very kind, and I thank you for your support, especially around the 5 a.m. Club. I'd like to mention, I'm very excited to share a portion of my royalties on the 5 a.m. Club are going to help children suffering from leprosy. People don't talk about leprosy very much. It's a very brutal disease, and these children are suffering intensely. So when people read the book and invest in their transformation, they're also helping children in need. And secondly, I'm excited to also share at the end of the book, there's a link to a free 66-day app, which is a video-based training program that I've created. So after people finish the book, for 66 days, I mentor them online, no charge whatsoever, to help them install the 5 a.m. Club method and live the 20-20-20 formula. And finally, the book is available in all good bookstores and on Amazon.com, and also it's available as an ebook on Audible. So hopefully that's helpful.
Thank you so much, Robin. All the best. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
You too.
Thank you.
Genial conversación con Robin Sharma. Muchísimas gracias, Robin, por esta oportunidad de traerte a Demente Positivo y de haber sido parte de nuestro programa Influencer Circle, que con tanto cariño también trabajamos nuestra academia por todo un año para líderes que quieren potenciar y elevar su nivel de impacto social para la región de Hispanoamérica, que tanto necesita liderazgo, prosperidad, abundancia y elevación de conciencia. Gracias por la oportunidad de escucharme. Como siempre, Dios es amor, hágase el milagro. Dios les bendiga, Dios te bendiga. Y recuerda suscribirte a nuestro canal de YouTube, activar la campanita de las notificaciones para que cada semana te llegue casi a diario la notificación de lo que, no solo a través de Demente Positivo, sino de todos los otros contenidos que nosotros subimos casi a diario a nuestro canal de YouTube. Nos encuentras buscando Ismael Cala en YouTube. Gracias por la sintonía. Hasta la próxima aventura, donde nos sentimos, nos escuchamos y permanecemos sintonizados, conectados y encendidos. Ya te veo, ya te escucho.
Para que no te vuelvas loco, aquí
Programamos el coco.
¿Quieres? Demente Positivo. Demente Positivo.